What's going on, guys? Super Insane 18 here, and this is the Chaos Thunder Dragon deck that you just watched me pilot, and I have to admit, this was rough. Thunder Dragon is a personal favorite of mine, and unfortunately it didn't quite perform as I'd wanted it to, so let's go ahead and jump right in. Now, the power for this deck is a hard beast to tackle, because honestly it's affected greatly by some of the other statistics on the list. We're gonna have to give this a 6, which might seem a little low when you consider that the majority of your monsters have a fairly high attack, but unfortunately the consistency of getting those monsters out is what's affecting the power. So let's move on. The protection, again, unfortunately is affected by the consistency. We're going to give it a 5, assuming that you're able to actually set up a board. You're going to have a healthy combination of interruptions where the best of hands can result in stuff like Dragoon, Thunder Dragon, Titan, and Hope Harbinger, but it's too hard to rely on consistently. So that brings us to consistency, which is where the deck really falls apart, and it's not the lowest statistic on the list, but arguably the most important. With an inconsistent deck, the other ratings can be a perfect 10, but if you're only going to be able to do that once every 100 duels, then it's a pretty bad deck overall. The consistency here has to be a 4, and it's really just because of all of the bricks that you're required to run in this deck. The versatility is actually this deck's strong suit, being at 6. Since the premise behind the deck is just to spam the field with monsters, you're pretty much able to make anything you want as long as it's relatively generic. Recovery is actually just as awful, coming in at just a 2. Other than Thunder Dragon Hawk and the one Chaos Creator, there's practically nothing in this deck that allows you to extend past your first turn. If you set up your board and it gets broken, you might as well just shake your opponent's hand. And the grindability is also laughably low at just 1. This deck has no ability to grind. Your hope is really that you go first, set up your board, play through your opponent's turn, and OTK on the next. So overall, that gives this deck an unfortunately low score of 4. Like I said at the beginning, Thunder Dragon is a personal favorite of mine, so I was holding out hope that this would do better, but sadly, here we are. We're actually going to skip the cards to look out for section because honestly, I just couldn't narrow it down enough. There's way too many threats that this deck has, and practically any form of interruption spells disaster, so let's just go for the notable cards, honestly. First, we have Dimension Shifter, which is a great card for this deck because you really don't care if all of your stuff gets banished, since it will activate all of your effects upon banishing anyway. While it helps you, it's a huge hindrance to your opponent most of the time, and definitely worth playing in the main, if not at least the side. Second, we have Chaos Emperor Dragon of Armageddon. This card can be a little bit more recovery if you need it. You're able to add back banished dragons with its pendulum effect, which is almost exclusively for recurring your black and white dragons, especially if you use Chaos Base to return one of them, because then when you get the other one back and use it, you can search the other one again. But once you've used that effect of Chaos Dragon, you're able to resummon it from your extra deck by banishing a light and dark, which can potentially activate more of your Thunder Dragon effects as well. Third, we have Gold Sarcophagus, and this pretty much speaks for itself. It's just a free activation of any of your Thunder Dragon monsters, and overall can prove to be very useful. And lastly, we have Arch Nemesis Eschados. I'm not sure if that's pronounced right. And this card is good going either first or second, honestly. If you know what kind of deck your opponent is playing, you can summon this on your first turn and lock them out of a specific type of monster. Conversely, going second, it'll destroy all monsters of that type while still preventing them from using that type moving forward for the turn. And overall is just a great card. It should be noted that if you want to play cards like the Chaos Dragon and the Arch Nemesis Eschados, you can also play something like Melody of Awakening Dragon, because it is able to search for not only both of those, but your Chaos Dragon Legionnaire as well. So consider that just like a bonus 5th notable card, but that's pretty much all that we have here. Looking at this deck, like I said, it's definitely not as good as I wanted it to be. Hopefully I can continue to work on this and bring you guys a better Thunder Dragon profile later on, maybe if we get some more cards, not necessarily Thunder Dragon support, but any sort of support that can just boost the level of this deck. But make sure that you like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will see you guys next time.